For this video of the Brain Injury Recovery Guide, we are going to be talking about stimulating your brain right. So no matter how you suffered your brain injury, concussion, more severe TBI, stroke, or post-infectious brain injury, stimulating your brain and helping it to connect appropriately is absolutely essential. When we look at the health of the brain is tied into three key things. One is how fast is the brain? Two, how accurate is the brain with performing tasks? Number three is how flexible is the brain? So can we have you do something and then switch what you're doing on a dime and you can keep going and still perform? Those are the three things needed for the brain to be healthy. Now, this is one of the parts where getting a proper evaluation is absolutely critical. There's a lot of places just generically giving people exercises, and while it can work for 30, maybe upwards of 50% of the patients, the more difficult patients will not get better, or else if they do, it's going to be at a slower rate than it should be. And then in others, they'll actually just get worse when they're given the wrong therapies. Now, when we look at brain injuries, we know we get disruptions in how the neurons communicate. So ultimately, you get a large part of neurons, that's going to different parts of the brain. Those parts of the brain communicate, and that's called a network, okay? So those networks get thrown off. Some of those networks that get thrown off a lot is the vestibular system and also the oculomotor system, okay? So you need to have those evaluated. So for the vestibular system, balance testing is a critical component. For the oculomotor system, using what's called a video oculography or video nystagmography. Now what that means is basically we have these goggles that you wear, and then you're doing a variety of tasks. So you're tracking a target, you're jumping from one side to the other. You are just looking at stationary targets and other things like that. With that information, we are able to map out what's happening in different parts of your brain, and we can use that to then give you the right exercises to perform. Now, we don't do this where you just get the exercises and you just leave, because when we do those eye movement testing, 80 to 90% think they do really well, but yet they struggle. And it's because their brain is compensating for them and they don't yet perceive how well they're truly doing. And if you don't perceive how you're truly doing, you can actually make yourself worse. So having a really good and proper education is critically important. Now, one other thing that can be checked is using brainwave testing to say, okay, what's happening with this from how the brain's connecting as well. So with all this information, we can create a specific treatment plan for you. And this goes in conjunction with all the other videos here in this brain injury recovery guide. There's not a magic bullet. There's no one trick pony. That's what someone only needs to do. When all of these are layered together, that's where we see the best results as a whole, with the quickest recovery, but also those that have been to many other places and still didn't get the results they wanted, they can still improve. So I hope you found this information useful, and please check out the other videos on this brain injury recovery guide if you haven't. And until next time, this is Dr. Z.